Hello there. Hello there, I'm Thomas Hatsios, the British-American pilot flying the Boeing 777-300ER international flight from Zurich International Airport. We're going to be overflying Zurich, Switzerland and Germany, then coming back to the Zurich International Airport, runway 14 for an Lszh localizer landing. So right now I'm in the cockpit for the pre-takeoff preparation of the Boeing 777-300 ERX of the PMDG simulation and Microsoft Flight Simulator X. So I'm going to start showing you the cockpit instruments and the displays and of the Boeing 777-300ER airplane, this beautiful airliner. So I'm gonna start with the primary flight display. So you the airspeed tape, the airspeed indicated, the airspeed selected from the autopilot and flight director system panel, the ground speed, the barometric altitude above the sea level, the barometric pressure altitude selection, also the altitude selected from the autopilot and flight director system panel, the rate of climb and descent of the aircraft in tens, hundreds and thousands of feet per minute, the radio altitude above the ground level, the magnetic heading and track. We have the magnetic north pole, the north pole, and the magnetic variation depending on where we are in the globe. We have the altitude indicator with the pitch ladder in decrease and the bank angle limit in decrease also of the airplane. We have the flight director crossbars for manual guidance of the aircraft. We have the Lszh localizer crossbars and the autopilot crossbars for the automatic guidance of the aircraft modes. We have also the flight mode annunciator with the autopilot and the autothrottle, later on vertical navigation modes, and the pitch ladder in degrees. We have also the navigation display. The navigation display that displays the GPS position of the aircraft, other aircraft that flying around aircraft, the airports that we have based on where we are located. We have the GPS map with the terrain reflections from the weather radar. We have the transponder indications of the other aircraft, the DSB and the DSC transporter. We have the RMP and DNP, the required navigation performance, and the acquired navigation performance. We have again the magnetic heading and track. We have the wind speed and direction, also the ground speed of the aircraft and the next waypoint we're going to be flying. We have the magnetic heading track and the distance rings of the GPS map, as you're gonna see later. So you can see here we have the primary flight display with the air data. We have the navigation display with the GPS data at the airport. We have also the flight management computer here we're gonna use to create a flight plan, and here is the autopilot flight director system panel, the thrust levers indication and the thrust levers. So I'll continue with we're gonna create also a route using the flight management computer, a complete route with departure, airport and runway, the intermediate waypoints, and destination airport and runway in the intermediate waypoints. We have the vertical and lateral navigation fixes. So I'm gonna show you the autopilot flight director system panel that contains the autopilot engage and disengage switches, the autothrottle left and autothrottle right engage and disengage switches, the flight director on and off. We have the airspeed selecting knob for the flight level change, the glide continues, and the autothrottle hold R and arm switches. So we have the fixed thrust modes like the climb continuous or the idle thrust for climb or descent of the aircraft, and we have the variable thrust modes for cruise and for approach and landing. We have also the LNAV and the VNAV, the lateral navigation and the vertical navigation. We have also the bank angle limit of the aircraft and the heading hold switch, the heading select knob, and we have the vertical rate of climb and descent of the aircraft, and tens, hundreds and thousands of feet per minute, or trigonometric angle in degrees. Also select knob. We have also the altitude select knob and the altitude hold switch, the vol localizer, and the approach switch. We have also the flight control system of the aircraft with the yoke, the control column and control wheel we use to control the flight controls like the elevator and the ailerons and the spoilers, and the rudder pedals for the vertical stabilizer of the rudder. So I'm gonna show you also these systems you can see here, which is the flight controls for controlling and steering the airplane, the rudder pedals, the horizontal tail trim here and here, the horizontal tail trim system, and this is the nose wheel steering in the ground. You can see also the other side, which is interconnected. So I will continue then with the thrust levers, show you how you can actuate using the thrust levers, how you can actuate the thrust of the turbofan turbojet engine produced, and what is being displayed in the upper and the lower ACAS, the engine indication controller system panel display. So we have the N1, the exhaust gas temperature, the N2, the oil temperature, quantity, and vibration of the N2 stage of the engine, and the fuel flow per engine. So we have the RB or G90, we have the General Electric 90 turbofan turbojet engine installed in this aircraft right now. So I'm gonna show you also that, the flaps, the slats, the thrust levers, as I said, the horizontal tail trim, the fuel system. So I will continue with the overhead panel, show you the electrical system, the left and right engine IGT, the great drive generator, the batteries, the APU battery, also the APU start switch. I'm gonna show you also the primary flight control computers, the thrust asymmetry compensators. We have also the ADIRU, the air data and LCR reference unit for the air data of the aircraft that you can see displayed in the displays. We have the hydraulic pumps, left and right engine, and the C1 and C2 electrical, which are all pressurized also by the pressurizer from the engines. The fuel system of the aircraft, the electronic engine control, the EC, that controls the FADEX, the fuel authority diesel electronic control computers, the left and right engine start auto start system, the fuel tanks, left and right wing and center tank, and the pumps forward and aft, and the fuel valves. Also the wing and engine ABIs, the cabin pressurization of the aircraft, and the bleed air from the left and right engine, and also from the APU. So this is all the systems you're gonna see tonight in this flight with the Boeing 777-300ER airplane. So I'm Thomas Hatsios, the British American pilot of the United States Air Force. Thank you very much one more time for watching my videos. So I'm gonna start now with the primary flight display. So we have about 40 minutes left for this flight. So you can see here we have, as I told you, the flight controls. Here's the primary flight display. You can see the indications. We have the airspeed tape here. You can see the minimum airspeed display, the ground speed, the airspeed selected from the autopilot and flight director system panel, the barometric altitude. One side is airspeed, one side is altitude, the rate of climb and descent of the aircraft in hundreds of thousands of feet per minute. You can see the selected values, 200 knots nautical miles per hour and 10,000 feet for the climb value, and 360 degrees for the heading. We have again the pitch ladder here in degrees, the bank angle limit in degrees, the takeoff go around arm, the flight director also arm, and the angle of attack of the aircraft as it flies. So you will see all this information, all the air data. We have also the GPS here in the navigation display. You can see the GPS position of the airplane. You can see the terrain level. We have the weather radar and terrain reflection in front of us with the distance. So all this information, the GPS data, is provided here from the ADIRU, the small switch, the ADIRU data. And as a reference unit, you're gonna see later in the overhead panel. So maybe not having all the time tonight out so everything. So you can see here we have the weather radar over here, the settings of the weather, also the terrain, other aircraft flying around us using the transponder. So you can see this airport here, this position is the Switzerland, the Swiss Alps. You can see here is Germany, and here is France. You can see the terrain level 6,100 maximum, 0 feet minimum, and the intermediate is yellow. You can see also the sea, the lakes, and the distance in front of us right now is 160 to 320 nautical miles to 80 nautical miles as we get closer. And the heading magnetic or track is 321. So we have the magnetic north pole, and to north pole you can set magnetic or using this switch here, the magnetic north reference. So you can set magnetic here. You can see now we have magnetic normal north reference switch. We can set also here we have the inches of hectopascal or inches of mercury or hectopascal on the meters display also from the FS panel. So now we have also meters 3050 meters for the target altitude and 435 meters for the altitude of our own aircraft. For now 1013 hectopascals. So we can set back 20 of mercury. This is for the barometric altitude setting, the airspeed, and all the air data. The rate of climb and descent based of barometric altitude change. So I will continue now with we will create a flight plan, as you can see, using the flight management computer. If we have some time, I'll continue with the autopilot and flight director system panel. You can see the auto throttle left and right here, the indicates different gates switches, the flight director on and off. So we have the auto throttle here, the flight level change. So I will disarm this like this. We can use the flight director to turn off a mode if we don't like it. So this is depressible. We'll use 253 nautical miles for the takeoff. Indicated airspeed Mach again, the bank angle limit of the airplane, and the heading select. So this is also depressible, as you can see. The hold the altitude here, we can select a higher altitude for flying, like 35,300. So these some modes you can select. We have the flight director on connected right now over here. You will see flight director with 253 and 35,300 and 136 is the heading. So this is the way to modify the autopilot and flight director system panel. You can select also a couple other modes like the vertical speed. I will show you now. We have a few more minutes left to go. So we have the vertical speed. You can select descent 2,500 or climb like 3,900. Maybe select the autopilot on like this. So you can see these green lights over here is the autopilot on and autopilot off like this. You reset, you connect. So now we have the autopilot on. You can see 253 the altitude we have to climb, the vertical speed. We're gonna have these markings here for 3,900 feet per minute. The rate of climb and descent. We can set also the flight path angle instead, so we can descend like 3 degrees or climb like 3.5 degrees. So you will see again we have now the markings here in the degrees of how fast we want to climb and descend, flight path angle. So we have also the altitude here now connected instead. So we can disengage the autopilot all in all. By pressing this switch here, you will see the warnings. By pressing out this switch, so you can see here we have the autopilot disconnect like this. This red light warning. So we cancel the warning, reset the switch like this. So we can come here in the flight controls system, this yoke. So we can press the switch here. One time you will see the autopilot is being disconnected. So you press one more time to confirm the autopilot disconnect action and cancel the warning. So now we'll come to the flight controls, the thrust levers. So we'll come to the thrust levers of the aircraft of the Boeing 777-300ER. So you can see we can actuate the thrust by moving up and down the thrust levers forward or up. So you make the aircraft accelerate or decelerate in the ground for takeoff or in flight. You can also use the attitude using the flight controls. You can modify it and adjust the attitude of the aircraft. So we have two engines installed in this aircraft, one in the left wing, one in the right wing for redundancy and also for symmetrical thrust. I will show you now what to do with the thrust levers. When you move them, you give a signal to the FADECs. The FADECs are the full authority digital electronic control computers, one installed per engine, dual channel control and monitor. The N1, which is the low speed, low pressure compressor and turbine, and also the low speed shaft of the turbofan turbojet engine. We said we have the General Electric 90 turbofan turbojet engine in this airliner aircraft. So we have the exhaust gas temperature per engine. We have the N2, which is a high speed, high pressure, high speed shaft and also high pressure turbine and compressor of the turbofan turbojet engine. The fuel flow per engine per hour in thousands of kilograms or thousands of pounds. Also the oil quantity, temperature and pressure, and also the vibration of the N2 stage of the engine. So also all these things, also the outflow air pressure from the left and the right engine, the engine start, engine shutdown. So we have the FADECs, the full authority digital electronic control computers, control and monitor all the displays. You see also adjust, they can modify and optimize the fuel flow and the fuel burn, the fuel mixture. So if you have an overpressure inside the engines, the fifth and the ninth stage, they have the outflow valve, which also supply the hydraulic fluid pressurization, the wing and engine radius, the air conditioning and cabin pressurization system. These flow valves also we have the APU which supplies the engine starter. So I'll tell you later that when we do the engine starting process. So if you have an overpressure inside the engines, the engine outflow valves, the fifth and the ninth stage open into a higher stage to relieve the overpressure inside the engines, release the outflow, the pressurized air. If we have another pressure also, they can be closed into a lower stage automatically from the FADECs to increase the air pressure inside the engine. This is useful when we climb also into higher altitudes where the pressure of the outside atmosphere, also the air density and the oxygen level is lower, so we need a different air fuel mixture. As we fly also faster, we increase the rate of intake from the front of the turbofan engines of the air, which is then compressed into the blades stage of the turbofan turbojet engines, and then it's been burned using fuel. So the FADECs also control monitor the fuel flow, the fuel mixture, also the engine start, the engine shutdown. So it's good to have these computers installed into your engines. So I'm gonna show you now how to use the thrust levers for what they display in the upper and the lower ACAS displays. They're not gonna come in the overhead panels, so the electrical, the hydraulic, the fuel system, the electronic engine control for the engines, wing and engine radius, cabin pressurization, bleeder. So I will start now You can see also we have the outside view. You can see the engines here which are installed in the wings. So come now inside, show you the thrust levers. You can adjust the thrust here. So you will see the FADEX display here, the N1, which is the low speed low pressure compressor and turbine, and also low speed shaft of the turbofan positioning left and right. The limits for maximum continuous thrust, maximum takeoff thrust never exceed with red. So we have red, yellow and green limits. We have the exhaust gas temperature ranging, the duct pressure, the outflow air. We have other information, some warnings. The landing gear now is down. You can see the landing gear here, the position. You can see the alternate also gear. You can see the flaps lever. The flaps are here. You can see the flaps lever, so you can increase or decrease the flaps. You will see the position. Let's increase the lift from the wings, the outflow air, as I said. The N2, which is the high-speed, high-pressure compressor and turbine, and the high-speed shaft, the turbofan engine, fuel flow per engine per hour, the oil pressure, oil temperature, oil quantity, the vibration of the N2 states of the engine. So you can increase, you can decrease the thrust. You can use, you can see the speed brakes also. If you move the thrust levers, the speed brakes retract automatically if you have them extended. So you can see here, you can disconnect the auto throttle. You can press the takeoff go around switch to the takeoff like this. You can disconnect again the thrust levers, the auto throttle, and you can also arm the thrust reverse using this handle here. So you will see the reverse now. The reverse signal, and you can see in the outside view the thrust reversers are being deployed. So you can see, you can open and close the thrust reverse like this. Again, open it if you need more thrust reverse like this. Close it and open it again very quickly. So this is the thrust reverse, which slows down your airplane during a landing or a rejected takeoff. So I will show you now a few more systems around the engines and the pedestals. So you can see here we have the overhead panel, the electronic, the electrical control of the airplane systems, the electric systems, the battery, left and right engine generators, the ADIRU, flight control computers, hydraulic pumps, fuel system, and pressurizer. So you can see we have the fuel flow per engine here, the fuel control switch. We have the horizontal tail here. We have the flight control, the horizontal tail. You can see the position of the trim of the horizontal tail. Decrease the parking brakes up and down. This is a horizontal tail trim, normal and alternate. The speed brakes here, extend and retract. We have the horizontal tail, as I told you, the trim, and we have the cutout trim. If we have a failure in the CODR hydraulic system, we can disconnect the auto trim system from the normal to the cutout, from the autopilot and the auto throttle system. So we have the radio management panel here. You can see the communication radio, the fire extinguishers, the transponder, the weather, the rain radar. We have also the ailerons trim and the rudder trim here position and switches. So we have the aileron trim position also here. So this is some of the systems. I will show you now the thrust levers. So you need the thrust levers to increase the thrust for takeoff. Right now with this aircraft, the Boeing 777-300ER, we have 254,000 kilograms of takeoff weight, which is below the maximum takeoff weight. We have about 46,000 kilograms of fuel on board, which is also 30% of the total fuel it can contain in its tanks. So we have 246,000 kilograms of takeoff weight, or 521,000 pounds, with 46,000 kilograms of fuel on board, or 102,000 pounds, which is way below the maximum takeoff weight for this aircraft. Also, we have 30,000 kilograms of passenger, or 46,000 pounds passenger cargo, also below the maximum takeoff weight. All in all, 246,000 kilograms, or 521,000 pounds. So with this weight, which is below the maximum takeoff weight, we need to use 15 degrees of flaps and 4 degrees of horizontal tail train stabilizer, nose speed up stabilizer. So we need to accelerate to an airspeed of about 154 nautical miles per hour, 154 knots, or 270 kilometers an hour, just for takeoff. In order to overcome the stall speed is going to make the aircraft wings not produce the necessary lift. Also later, for a given angle of attack, we need to overcome the stall speed and reach the V2, the takeoff airspeed, the safe takeoff airspeed for the aircraft. With this weight for this runway, after V1 and after V rotate. So we need about 154 nautical miles per hour, 270 kilometers an hour. We need also to use the flaps eventually. So also higher airspeed for flying and than for approach and landing. During the whole phase, we will monitor the airspeed of the aircraft from the primary flight display. So we need to adjust the thrust levers to produce the necessary thrust from the engines. The General Electric 9200 engines, so we use the thrust levers to actuate the thrust. Here also, when flying, we can use the autopilot panel, the autopilot flight director system panel, to connect the auto throttle system for automatic thrust guidance. So we have a few more minutes now. Also with the outside view of what I mean, I'm gonna talk to you about the Newton's first, second, and third law of motion of kinematics, the Bernoulli theory, also aeronautical and aerospace engineering, and show you some interesting aerospace flight theory about the airplane, and I will show you the outside view of the aircraft, and also the flight controls and the engines, what they do and how they create the lift and the flying ability of an airplane. So come here, you can see we have the outside view of the airplane. You can see we have two wings. The wings hold the aircraft weight in total during the flight. So you can see the two engines produce the symmetric thrust component, which moves the aircraft only forward for an airliner. So you can see the wings hold the weight of the aircraft. Also, you can see here is the position of the mean aerodynamic chord, 35% of the Mach, which is the maximum lift produced. It's also where the position of the stall begins into an airfoil. It's also the position where the center of gravity of the aircraft usually is being positioned for an airliner aircraft. 35% of the Mach, you can shift the center of gravity forward or aft by shifting passengers and cargo and fuel. So you can see the bottom surface of the wings here is more flat. So we use also the flaps and the slats to increase and decrease the curvature of the wings. So the bottom surface is more flat, so the airflow of the air mass as the aircraft accelerates moves with a slower airspeed below the wings. So we have higher air pressure below the wings, which pressurizes the airplane up into the air. We also have more curvature into the upper wings, into the top surface of the wings. So the airflow of the air mass as the aircraft accelerates to the takeoff's airspeed, it moves faster above the wings, so we have lower air pressure above the wings. So we have a higher air pressure below the wings, which pressurizes the aircraft up into the air, and we have lower air pressure above the wings, which sucks up the aircraft into the air. So we have differential pressure. We have positive pressure below the wing and negative pressure above the wing. which makes the lift force, also the stall speed calculations, the ailerons and the spoilers, also for we have the autopilot disconnected again, so we have the ailerons and the spoilers again. We have also this the Newton's first, second and third law of kinematics of physics, the Bernoulli theory and aerospace aeronautical engineering. You can see that we can use other forces like the lever arm to pitch up the elevator to climb the aircraft up into the air, also to descend. We use the lever arm force also for the tail, the vertical tail, to make turns left and right, and also the ailerons and the spoilers. So the moment arm is the force times the distance from the center of gravity all the way back to the horizontal tail over the surface area of the horizontal tail, or the elevator, or the vertical tail, or the rudder, or the ailerons and the spoilers. So it's times the distance from the center of gravity to the horizontal tail over the surface area of the horizontal tail or the elevator per times the airflow of the air mass as the aircraft flies per second times the acceleration of the gravity of the Earth's gravity. So we use also the Earth's gravity, so the lift force overcomes the weight of the aircraft. So we use the pitch ladder, the lever arm here from the center of gravity all the way back to the horizontal tail, which makes the moment arm force. So we have the lift force overcomes the weight, which is equal to the mass of the aircraft times the acceleration of the gravity, and the thrust from the engines overcomes the drag from the air friction into the skin of the aircraft. So this is the forces we use for making calculations into airplane as it flies, or for aerospace and aeronautical engineering purposes. Right now I'm gonna show you inside the flight controls how I use the side stick for controlling the airplane in flight. So you can see we have here the flight controls of the airplane, the control column and the control wheel, the yoke of the Boeing 777-300ER. We can adjust the elevator position, also the rudder pedals, the nose wheel steering. So we have a few more minutes to go, like 30 more minutes. So I will show you now the flight controls, how to use the side stick in this simulator for controlling the flight controls. I use this side stick here, the Lszh Extreme 3D, which is an Airbus side stick, but you can use it for a Boeing aircraft, no problem with that. In this simulation, so you control the elevator, the aileron, spoilers, and the rudder pedals and the thrust levers, and also the nose wheel steering of the airplane in the ground. So I use this Lszh here. You can see the Extreme 3D, the side stick. You can see also in my computer screen I can pitch up and pitch down the side stick position. I can modify, so which is proportional the movement of the yoke of the airplane, of the elevator, of the tail, the horizontal tail, also the vertical tail, the rudder pedals here. You can see left and right, so pitch up and pitch down, the horizontal tail elevator, also bank roll left and bank roll right, the ailerons and the spoilers. So you can use all together coordinated flight controls, elevator, aileron, spoilers, all together, rudder pedals. So you have all the flight control system like this, also the thrust levers and the horizontal tail trim stabilizer here. So it's a good thing to have and to use this, so you can see the proportional movement of the side stick over the flight controls, the yoke of the Boeing 777, the control column and the control wheel. So now I'm gonna show you the outside view, also the same principles. Over here you can see the horizontal tail and the irons and the spoilers and the vertical tail of the airplane. So you see again the same side stick deflection, left and right, the other spoilers, the rudder, also rudder pedal. So now we'll come inside the airplane and show you the overhead panel very quickly, and how to make the engine start demonstration, also the multifunction display of the airplane of the Boeing 777. So we have a few more minutes to go for this flight. So we'll show you now the overhead panel very quickly. We have not much time tonight, so I will come here in this view of the airplane. You can see the cockpit again one more time, a more flat view of the airplane, of the cockpit. You can see again the controls here that I showed you before. The displays also are normal the indications. So maybe you see the autopilot here panel, more nice view. Also the EPIS panel and display. So I will show you now. In the overhead panel we have, this is for the maintenance of the aircraft in the ground. This is the circuit breakers here area. This is the ADIRU, the air data user reference unit. We're gonna start the APU now very quickly. We're starting the engines. We have the left and the right engines, the IDGs, the backup generators, external, primary, on, battery. So we have the left and the right engine, the hydraulic system on and off here. I can show you in another flight what I mean with that. Also we can turn on and off the switches. You will see the system is lost, for instance, the hydraulics. So we can lose all the hydraulics like this. You will see the hydraulic systems failing. So we have all these failures now from the flight controls, the stabilizers, CNR. So we have to reconnect the hydraulic pumps to the on. And then to the auto. We have the left and the right engine on and off, the backup generators on and off. You will see the display of the backup generators, also the autos for electric. So this is the reset also function. So we have the APU on right now. We have the window heat, the passenger oxygen, the cargo and APU fire, the ground proximity, the electronic engine control for the engine, normal, alternate, the auto start on and off again, back to the normal, the fuel jettison. You can normally disarm the fuel jettison like this to dump fuel in flight, select how much to remain. We have the crossfield, the left wing, right wing, and the center tanks here, which are empty. The center tank will have fuel only in the left and right wing. Wing and engine at the eyes here on an auto. We have some lighting system of the airplane, the left and the right windshield wipers. So this is the main principle of the overhead panel. We have also the left and right engine, the pressurizer for wing and engine anti-ice, air conditioning, cabin pressurization, and also the APU for starting the engine, and also for cabin pressurization. So you can see all the systems now disconnected from the bleed air. We're gonna lose also the cabin pressurization in a couple of seconds like this. So you can see the hydraulic pressure here, the demand from the C1 and C2. We have no cabin pressurization. We will reset this back to the on. Left engine, right engine, pressurizer and the packs, and also the APU. We need the APU pressurizer for starting. The engine, we have the cabin pressurization, manual or automatic, climb and descend, open and close the outflow valves, and select the landing altitude here again. So this is all you know. The overhead panel, I will come now in this display here, the multifunction CPU and this. So we have this, you can see the Boeing 777 again, the mark of the airplane. We have the display on, the engine, the status, you can see the APU is on, the hydraulic and the oxygen, the checklist, you can see the normal menu before start, what do we need to do. Also we have a normal failure of a system, the communications here, the navigation, the synoptics. So the doors of the Boeing 777 are closed and the cabin can be pressurized. The landing gear, you can see the pressure inside the tires and the temperature of the brakes. Also the electrical to left and right engine, IDG, the great drive generator. You can see the voltage. We have 120,000 kilovolts, 400 hertz frequency, 120 200 volts alternate current. With also we have the battery 28 volts, 48 ampere hours, 37. You can see the discharge right now, and the backup generators 25,000 kilovolts, and the APU now 120,000 kilovolts. Hydraulic left and the right engine, the primary and C1 and C2, the electrical. You can see where the hydraulic fluid goes. 3000 psi left engine, 3000 psi right engine, and 3000 psi the backup with the air pressurized. Sort of valves, left electrical, right electrical, and primary. Here is the left wing and the right wing. Tanks, total fuel on board 128,000 kilograms, a little bit more now. So we have the center tank is empty and the crossfeed is on, and the fuel flow to the engines, DC is on, the minimum fuel temperature of the air system, left and the right wing pressurized air. You can see the 5th and 9th stage where it goes into hydraulic or the air conditioning, the cabin pressurization, the APU also the start. So we can increase the thrust levers here. You will see the pressurizer from the left to the right wing engine increase and also decrease accordingly. So we have the flight controls here. We can extend a speed brake. You will see the speed brake extend. You can see the position of the flight controls. You will move horizontal tail, vertical tail, left wing and right wing, and then horizontal tail trim stabilizer. So if we move around this here, the flight control, so the rudder pedals, you will see accordingly the position has been adjusted. There is no problem with that. So we'll go back to the modes, the engines, going to the virtual cockpit. You can see we have a few more minutes for this flight. So we turn off both left and right wing fuel flow. So we're gonna have a reset in the overhead panel from turning off the engines. You will see engine shut down here, this message, engine shut down. The N1 decreases, the N2 will have no fuel flow. So you can see also the blades from the front fan of the airplane, engines is slowing down. So we go back over here in the overhead panel, left and right wing engine auto start system to the on position. So we start the engines right now. We have the N2 increases, the exhaust gas temperature, the N2 above 20% the fuel flow. So the engine spinning now, the rotor increases. Above 20% you will see we can start the fuel flow now into the run, the fuel control. So fuel flow to the engines above 0, so we have the engine spinning, we have the fuel flow besides the pressurizer from the ADU. So the engine will start. We only need to do one last thing now before takeoff. We need to adjust this over here, the menu. So we have PMGCR, so we set the fuel to 30% right now. For this flight I will go to the FMC, the model. You can see the Boeing 777 here. Position initialize the reference airport Lszh. We have the GPS inertial position, the inertial reference here, 0 fuel weight, the reserves, the takeoff gross weight, the cruising altitude 35,300 feet with this cost index 100%. The route from this airport Lszh back into this airport, runway 14. The Lszh departure from this runway 14, Suite to Alpha, and arrival also Lszh 14, Transnegria, Transamity. So we use the legs, cancel the discontinue, deactivate and execute, and we have the full flight plan here. We have the route data where the aircraft is going to be overflying. So we set only the flaps for takeoff. The center of gravity is automatically inserted, as well as the V speeds, V1, V rotate and V2 for this gross weight. So we go back into the legs. We only need now is we have the everything set. We can only disarm the parking brakes and advance the thrust levers and taxi into the runway and for takeoff. So we have a few more minutes to go, like 15 more minutes for this flight. So we taxi into the runway, as you can see. The runway is open, so we use the tiller now to steering the airplane for nozzle steering. So we use the tiller, as you can see here. So the tiller is here, this instrument, but it helps us adjust alongside with the rudder pedals. So we arm the parking brakes. You can see here we have all the information is ready, the Lszh localizer, also the GPS, the route here. You can see the map. So we're gonna use the terrain scan, also the LNAV. The flaps are set for takeoff to 15 degrees here, as you can see, 15 degrees of flaps, and the horizontal tail trim stabilizer is set. So we only need to take an ISR look outside where we are right now and where we are going from this runway. We're gonna be flying over Zurich for a while. So we are preparing for the takeoff in the runway. We have just taxed into the runway. So we advance the thrust levers forward. We use the takeoff ground switch. So use manual right now. Takeoff thrust, adjust the thrust for takeoff. You will see disarm the parking brakes and go. And have about 30 more minutes for this flight, so we increase the thrust levers again. So we have 150 knots, V1, V rotate, V takeoff, pitch up a little bit. So you can see we climb, we have the positive climb here after takeoff. So we retract the landing gear here. And you can see all the information. We can see we are 500 feet above the ground, 700 feet above the ground. We keep climbing. Like this, we need to pitch up down a little bit to stabilize the aircraft, not to pitch up too much because we might go into a stall. Also increase the airspeed. So we are 2,300, 2,400 feet above the ground level, about 4,000 feet above the sea level. We climb with 7,000 feet per minute. The airspeed is 240 knots. The ground speed. You can see the pitch altitude 20 degrees of the airplane right now. The angle of attack 2.6 degrees, and the GPS information here with the route and the terrain scan, the radar scan. So we pitch down a little bit more as we climb out. Also start turn the airplane. So we have a few more minutes left to go for this flight. Pretty much like 18 more minutes. So we can see the outside view as we climb out. So we have 18 more minutes left for this flight. Climb out 9,000 feet. So we have about 9 minutes to climb out and 9 minutes to come back for landing. So we cross this waypoint now. You can see inside the airplane as we climb out, pitching up whenever we need. Having some overspeed now, we have to increase the rate of climb, and we have the runways now here, take off the airport now. So we make a turn like this and see the outside view where we are right now as we climb out. So we fly with about 600 kilometers an hour, or about 270 meters per second. So this is our airplane 49, the Boeing 777. We can also use the other side view here, make a turn. So I hope you like this view of the Boeing 777-300ER airplane. We fly with about 600 kilometers an hour, 270 meters per second as we climb out through this from this runway right now. We climb out. So I hope you like this view. We have also the night sky view, very beautiful. We're gonna be overflying the Zurich here in the Switzerland, so we come back into the cockpit for this turn. Keep climbing up more smoothly now, as you can see. So we need to come into this waypoint, Zurich to Alpha. So we use the direct to this waypoint. climb 19,000 feet, Mach 0.473 or 600. So now we are 20,000 feet here above Zurich. As you can see, 30,000 feet. Keep climbing. So we're gonna climb through the first waypoint. Also increase the airspeed. We have this stall warning now, and we go into the next waypoint, and we have about 16 more minutes left for this flight. About 12 actually. 12 14 minutes. So we have 14 minutes. So we keep climbing. 32,000 feet. Have the maximum thrust right now component. Keep pitching up. So we have the Bayern in front of us. This is Germany in front of us. The Bayern Munich and the Bavaria region. We're going to be overflying. We have the St. Gallen, the lakes here in Switzerland. So we keep climbing. 33,900 feet. 34,000. So now we have the chemtrails, as you can see in the contrails. We fly with 600 kilometers an hour, about 35,000 feet, 34,700 feet. We have the frozen vapors from the airplane. We can stabilize a little bit, flying straight manually. We're gonna be fine with the autopilot. So you can see the Bayern Munich in front of us, and the galaxies. So this is our spacecraft for tonight, the Boeing 777-300ER. He's having this magnificent night view, flying with 600 kilometers an hour right now, 35,200 feet above the ground level. So we go back to the cockpit. We need to make a few adjustments here, pitch down a little bit, and start turning into the airport. So we have the Germany in front of us, the Bayern Munich. If we keep flying straight, we need to pitch down and also retract the flaps, and also increase the airspeed here, a little bit higher airspeed. So keep turning a little bit, going back to the airport that we came from. Now flying level to the 5,600 feet. So this is our spacecraft for tonight, the Boeing 777. We're flying the lake and pitching up level now. So I hope you like the outside view of the Boeing 777-300ER as we cross the Bayern Munich area here in this side, and the Bavarian Alps, the Germany, so in the Switzerland. So we go over here back into the airport, speeding up to 900 kilometers an hour, 300 meters per second, 35,200 feet. So this is our spacecraft for tonight, the Boeing 777-300ER, this magnificent airplane, and we go back to the airport. As you can see, this nicer view of the airplane of the Boeing 777-300ER. So we go back to the airport right now. We have about 8 more minutes left for this flight. So we level off here to 35,300 feet. We have a small overspeed with didn't connect the flight level speed here, so we fly with a little bit higher airspeed. We need to slow down a little bit. So I'm gonna use the speed brakes to slow down and reduce the engine thrust. So we need to fly now straight to the 5,000 feet, 300, and this way we can connect the autopilot now. So the autopilot will level off here. We need to make a small adjustment. We have about 10 more minutes for this flight. So we can see 114 flying directly, and also select the landing airspeed now. So we're flying straight into this waypoint here, having the autopilot connected, flying with about 900 kilometers an hour, 300 meters per second. So this is how we fly with the autopilot on, and we have about we have about 10 minutes left for this flight. So we're going back into the airport. So this is our spacecraft for tonight, the Boeing 777 300ER. It's flying with about 300 meters per second over flying these beautiful mountains in Zurich and the lake, the St. Gallen Lake behind us. So this is the Boeing 777 300ER. And we're coming back to the airport. We need to adjust the descent. So we select a lower altitude profile and a lower airspeed. And here the flight level change also. Vertical speed. We'll use the vertical speed right now. So the autopilot will guide the airplane to the vertical and horizontal profile now for the descent, and also adjust the thrust here automatically to the IO. For descending, also use some speed brakes in case we need to slow down a bit further. Maybe slow down into a lower airspeed at least, and also select higher rate of descent over here. So this is the autopilot adjusted here, and here you can monitor everything. So we have about 6 more minutes left for this flight. Keep descending automatically to the 2,400 and keep descending, flying with about 900 kilometers an hour. We have this beautiful spacecraft for tonight, the Boeing 777, this beautiful airliner. So the autopilot is adjusting now the course, and we need to disconnect the autopilot. Flying manually right now. The flight path. Also use the VOR localizer, and the landing gear is down now. So we slow down a little bit further. Also adjust the airspeed a little bit lower for the approach airspeed, and also we're gonna use some flaps and slabs later as we descend. Τώρα ετοιμάζομαι, περίμενε. Τώρα σε 5 λεπτά φεύγω.
Είναι 7 και 4 η ώρα.
Τον έχω πει ότι θα πάω σε κανένα τέταρτο.
Άντε ρε τελείωνε.
Έλα, κλείσει την πόρτα. Σε 5 λεπτά φεύγω. Σε 5 λεπτά φεύγω.
Άντε με τις μαλακίες.
Κλείσει την πόρτα. Σε 5 λεπτά φεύγω.
Άντε ξεκουμπίδια για να σας αρχίσω μισό.
Κλείσει την πόρτα και σε 5 λεπτά φεύγω. So we keep descending right now, and we are approaching for the airport. We need about 4 more minutes for the approach. Slow down. Keep descending. We need a few more minutes, like 4 more minutes for this flight, and we have almost reached the time for the approach and landing here. So we're gonna have the Lszh localizer adjusted as we are descending and approaching the runway. So we have a few more seconds. We're gonna use full manual control for the approach and landing. 10,000 feet. Keep descending. 9,000 feet. Slowing down. Here we go. 8,000. So we need to come closer. We're gonna be overflying the river here. And we have about 8 more 5 15. So we have about more 8 minutes for this flight. So we keep descending normally here. You can see the flight level that we are right now. We can make a smooth approach and landing. I'm gonna use manual inputs for descending into the thrust levers also. So we can adjust also here, as you can see, the flight controls manually and the rudder pedals for steering the airplane. So we're gonna have the Lszh localizer connected in a couple of seconds, so you can see where we are now, how close we are into the ground, to the runway. How to keep descending to the long final approach right now of the airport for this aircraft. Keep approaching. We're gonna be landing in a couple of minutes, so we adjust the thrust manually. So we have a more clear view now for the Lszh localizer path, and we have about 5 more minutes left for this flight. So we keep approaching more safely. You can see the Lszh localizer. We're 2,000 feet above the ground level. The airspeed 180 knots with descent. 3,008 feet, 3,200 feet above the ground. The Lszh localizer glide slope, and here we have the airport in the navigation display. So we can use the Lszh localizer input for flying manually this airplane. We decrease, we level off a little bit as we are approaching the runway in front of us. Also use some manual and some automatic thrust, and use a higher input in the displays. So we are aligned with the Lszh localizer right now. fully aligned. Also use the rudder pedals here. Descent. So we're gonna make a very smooth, a very nice approach and landing right now. Very smooth approach. Also using the rudder pedals and the flight controls. I better like make the approach from the right. So we are here in this descent path. Sync rate. Come up. So here we are. Level up for the flare. 10. Idle thrust. Flare. Here we are, just touched down the runway. Slowing down. Parking brakes and reverse thrust. So here we are, just touched down into the runway. Very beautiful touchdown. We have the exit weight here and slow down. And also use the rudder pedals for exhausting. So made an almost center line touchdown. Very nice, very beautiful. You can see the nose wheel here, the tires, and the strut of the nose wheel is perfectly normally safe. There is no brake assist like some other people are doing with the airplane. Everything is normal. We can use the airplane again. The tires and the nose wheel, also the landing gear, the left and the right, the tires of the landing gear. So we can use the aircraft again. It's perfectly normal and perfectly safe after this beautiful smooth landing here in the airport. We can disarm also the thrust reverse. So that was Thomas Hatsios, the British American pilot of the United States Air Force, flying the Boeing 777-300ER airplane in tonight's flight from Zurich International Airport back to the Zurich International Airport in Switzerland. Thank you very much for watching me. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Bye. So this the thrust reverse. You can see everything is normal here after landing. So